So it really sucks that Andy and JF are no longer working together. I thought what they had was pretty good. They were both different, but very similar in a lot of ways, in my opinion. They were both very emotional and sensitive, but they would both express it in different ways. Andy would kind of get, he would yell and rage and stuff, and then JF would get kind of petty and occasionally sensitive and cry and stuff. And both these two things was hilarious to see in real life, and together it was even funnier. And they both brought different people to the mix. And now that they're separate, I don't think it's going to be as good. JF, he's got a new co-host, and she's too far right for me, in my opinion. And I think that he probably even, maybe he agrees on some aspects with her, but I think he probably has less in common with her than he does with Andy, because both Andy and JF, they're more libertarian in the sense that they don't want violence, they don't want anybody to die, they want people to be able to do whatever they want to do most of the time. So I think that there might be more clashes between JF and his new host than possibly Andy and JF, because I don't know if JF will be okay with some of the shit that she keeps going on about, because, or maybe he will be, I don't know. But I think she is a little bit too extreme, and it's not going to be as enjoyable to watch. And I don't know what Andy's going to do, but he's gonna have a hard time replacing JF. And if I was the alt-right, you would want Andy and JF to actually work together, because if it's just Andy and this new host, you're not going to be attracting people that are moderate or people that have never heard your positions before. But with Andy, you're going to be attracting a lot of different people. So if you want your ideas to be exposed to people, you would want Andy and JF to stay together, and you would stop insulting Andy's low IQ or whatever and insulting him constantly, because you're just gonna fuck yourself over. And the alt-right is pretty good at doing that. They're very good at doing the very wrong thing to fuck themselves over, like Charlottesville and stuff, and like a bunch of dumb other things. But if you want your ideas exposed, you're gonna want these two to actually work together, right? So instead of just going in your bubble with that other new host. And I'm not saying anything negative about her, but she is way further right than even JF. So I'm not sure that's going to be a good combo. And I don't think that Tonka had anything to do with that. He never said he wanted Andy to fire JF or anything like that. But Failure definitely did. I remember him saying a few times, like, I don't watch your show anymore, it's not funny, I miss Chris. Like, I would watch your show if Chris was back on. And I don't really think that the Kumite or Tonka or even Failure really had much to do with them splitting up, because this manipulation that has been going on, the constant ear, the people in Andy's ear, that has been going on for months, and I've seen this been going on for months. People saying that JF is manipulating, you're cucking to JF, this and that, and it was mostly coming from further leftists, right? Like, the the Jeff Holidays and even Quartering and stuff. Like, these guys were mostly saying that, and every time that JF would say something stupid, like insult Andy's intelligence, which I told him in like Twitter, I messaged him like, hey, like a month ago, I was like, hey, stop insulting Andy's intelligence. This is gonna fuck you over in the long run. But every time that he did do it, people would harp on it and would jump on it, and then they'd be like, hey, look, see, you're gonna let him do this to you, you're gonna stand your ground, you're a cuck, you're a bitch. And the thing with Paul's ego and the Kumite, the day before JF did his stream about Andy and Cantwell, like, yeah, JF or Andy did like cuck to Paul's ego and was like saying like, yeah, you're right, and I gotta stand my ground and this and that. So I think JF was probably watching that stream too, and then that probably the interaction that Andy and Paul's ego had and stuff, and some of the shit that was said on the Kumite that day, maybe the day before, instigated JF to make that video, because JF did say he waited a few days and then he finally did it, right? So, he may not have done it if he didn't watch that video on the Kumite, but nonetheless, JF is overly sensitive and emotional. But I think that this manipulation stuff was going on, and it just made the situation a lot worse. If there wasn't all these people in Andy's ear right from the beginning saying this shit, it probably would have went on for another year or so. And like these people, they're saying, hey man, I just want you to stand up for yourself and this and that. We care about you. This, like, I don't think that's the case. They're either saying that because they don't like JF and they want him off the show, or they legitimately want the show to crumble and they want his ratings to fall and watch him burn, right? Like, I think this is what originally some of the people who first put that manipulation or were talking in Andy's ear, I think that was their intention. And then there's other people who just legitimately don't like JF, and that's fine. They can have their opinion and stuff, like failure. But I think and whatnot, and they had no nefarious intentions. But a lot of the people who have been saying that, in my opinion, did, and they wanted the show just to fail, and they wanted to laugh. So, I think that they should talk about this. They should try to work it out, not on the air, because that is not always the best thing to do. People think, okay, well, what happened in the public space, let's handle it in a public space. But no, when it comes to business and stuff like that, like Tonka is right, they should have dealt with these matters before it got out of hand. Yeah, they should have talked about this more than a month ago. And if you are running a business with somebody, you need to have good communication with that person. So, it sucks that they're not working together. I think that there's still a small chance that they could possibly work together. But JF has to stop insulting his intelligence like Andy and calling him a low IQ and being like, oh, how can I work with this mind and stuff like that. JF is oftentimes his own worst enemy. So he needs to cool it with that. And, they could be much bigger, much more popular, I think, together than apart. Because if they start doing streams on the same day and fighting each other, that's not good, because I don't want to see either one of them fail. I like both of the guys. I think they're both good together. I have nothing bad to say really about either of them. Like, they both have their faults and stuff. But, I think that it's just the tension that was already there was just exacerbated by people who just either, like I said, don't like Jeff or wanted to see the show fail. So, it just sucks. I think it could have lasted for another year or so. And, hopefully they can work it out within the next week. Things cool off and they come back together even stronger, because that's what would happen. If they're separate, they will be weaker. If together, they will be stronger. They will gain more audience. And like I said before, the alt-right, if you want to expose your positions to more people, you're going to want this union to stay together, right? So, try to be less of a dicks to fucking Andy and stuff. And then, but, I don't really think I could say much to Andy's fan, the ones that don't like JF, because they're just, they're like, kick JF, we don't like him, But if you legitimately do like Andy as well and you're his fans, I think you're going to want JF and Andy to stay together, because what's going to happen is JF's going to have his own streams, and then they're going to run on the same day, and then this is just going to create a lot of shit, a lot of tension, and it doesn't need to be like that. It really doesn't. We shouldn't be fighting each other, because the fact of the matter is, like, the media, all this shit, they think we're all the same anyways. They think we're all alt-right or whatever. So working against each other, trying to silence each other, trying to, this and that is not a good thing to do, in my opinion, right? Like, we need to work together. We can't work against each other, because there's already tons of people trying to censor us, trying to demonetize our content, and trying to incentivize us not to talk about the things that we want to talk about. Because I think Andy, even though he wanted to do some more fun streams, he still liked those discussions too. And I think that people puts more stuff into his head. I think that he did want to do more fun streams and wanted to participate more for sure. But I'm assuming that he probably did like a lot of those streams, you know, with Sargon and Richard Spencer and like some of those big ass streams that were really awesome. Like, you know, they must have enjoyed that. So, you know, hopefully they can work it out behind the scenes and come back stronger. But that's all I pretty much had to say. If you like my content, subscribe and have a good one. See ya.